Hello there, one and all, and thank you very much for tuning in to episode 516 of Love at First Scent with me, Persolaise, live on YouTube as always. Whether you're watching the live or you're watching the recording, you are very, very welcome. And regardless of how you're watching, feel free to ask a question, leave a comment at any time. If you haven't already subscribed to this channel, please do consider doing so. If you would like to find out how you can support my work, you should be able to see a link to my Ko-fi page in the video description below. And one thing that I haven't been saying very much lately, but I really should, if you enjoy the video, please do also consider giving it a like, a thumbs up, because that helps with spreading the word on YouTube and bringing other people who may be interested in similar videos into this channel, directing them to this channel. First comment goes to Dushan, who says, never heard of this house. Ah, interesting. Well, then I'm very, very pleased to be able to introduce it to you. Herb says, hello, everyone. The bugs are going around. Ooh, what bugs are those? Hope you're not feeling too poorly. Jeff says, those names leaning into the vulgar, are we? Well, I don't know. Do you think so? Well, we can discuss that. Thomas says, I've heard good things about this brand, sadly not widely available. Natasha says, I've heard these are great. They started with candles, didn't they? Okay, perfect. Thank you very much. Yes, indeed. This is a, let's show the packaging here. So the brand in question today is, we should call it Eau De Boujee. But yes, a lot of you will be aware that they started off as bougie, as in bougie candles, and they started with candles. Now, apologies if I get some of this wrong, and if somebody knows better, then please feel free to correct me. But Pia Long, the perfumer of all of these scents, who had many years experience at Lush and composed some of their most successful products, she set up a company called Olfiction, brilliant name, Olfiction, with one Nick Gilbert, and I believe Thomas Dunkley, aka Candy Perfume Boy, was involved at that point, but I genuinely don't know if he was like officially a co-founder or whether he just sort of helped them out. As far as I'm aware, he's not involved with Olfiction anymore officially. I don't, so please forgive me if any of this is wrong, but this is what I believe to be correct. This is what I've been able to find out. Anyway, Nick Gilbert has many years experience in the retail sector, and then also he moved not just from retail but also started working for brands or a brand. Anyway, the two of them, possibly with plus one with Candy Perfume Boy, set up Olfiction, and then within Olfiction they also set up their own brand, Boujee. Gavin says, this is Pia Long and Nick Gilbert's brand. They had a YouTube channel called Love to Smell. That's right, yes. Nick used to work at Les Senteurs. Yes, he absolutely did. That is where I met him, a specialist high-end London perfumery. And I think when they did perfumes, and the first 4 perfumes were launched a year ago, I gather that they did well, and so they thought that maybe they ought to change the name of the brand. I'm sorry, this is speculation again. I guess maybe they thought they ought to change the name of the brand so that it didn't just sound as though it was a candle brand. And so now they are Eau De Boujee. The original quartet was Verdant, Quir, Quir, and Gilded, and this year they have given us Infleurno. And we have got pre-sprayed blotters, but we haven't just got pre-sprayed blotters, because I actually sort of smelt the blotters as I went along and made some notes, because I thought I want to be able to sort of contribute as meaningfully as possible, as many thoughts as possible to this video. But I have to say, overall, I mean, I'm not surprised, because Pia is a very talented person. But even when you know that somebody's talented and you know they're good at what they do, when you actually see the work that they've done and it meets your expectations, shall we say, you can't help but be kind of pleased. I should also say, for sort of full disclosure purposes, I know Pia, but you know, I can't call her a close friend. So I can honestly, hand on heart, say that my relationship with her is not such that I would need to worry about some kind of conflict of interest or worry about not being objective enough. For instance, I can tell you that I haven't seen her for years. I haven't had any kind of direct contact with her for years, but she is somebody that I know. She is somebody that I used to sort of see at events and go to events with. But I think the last time we were actually in the same room together was many years ago, well before COVID. And I think the same would apply to Nick. I haven't seen him for years either. So I'm sort of clear in my mind that what I'm about to give you is an objective view. Gavin says, how did you get hold of the perfumes? Through their PR. Their PR sent them to me. They have a PR who sent them. Natasha says, Gilded was the one I heard about, I think via Sable Yong. Okay, we should get smelling. And I think I would like to start with the one that I found the least interesting, really, if I'm being perfectly honest, and I am going to be perfectly honest. And that was Quir. And I was a little bit surprised that this one turned out to be the least interesting one for me. There we are. Because as regular viewers will know, leather is an extremely easy sell. And I thought, well, anyway, let's spray, and then we can talk. I do have to say, though, that I also looked at the write-ups of these perfumes on the brand's own website. And the write-ups are great because I think the write-ups they really show what happens when people who know what they're talking about actually, and know what they're doing, actually make the stuff and then name the stuff and then write about the stuff, because everything is just so cohesive. And as I was smelling the perfumes and looking at the website and reading it, I was just going, yeah, absolutely makes sense. Yes, I can totally see this. Yes, you have achieved what you appear to have set out to achieve if your website is correct. And that's great. You know, when that happens, that's really wonderful. Oh, Jeff says easy sell is an understatement. I still remember your leather jacket smell, Fee. Yeah, I really do like leather scents. Anyway, so this is a really nicely done leather with a strong kind of incensey note, a kind of burnt incense note. There's something kind of bringing a lift at the top, maybe a well-judged citrus note. But I guess maybe because it's Nick and Pia, maybe I was expecting something that might just bring a touch of the unexpected, or maybe something that would bring a touch of humor. I mean, the name is witty, I think, is clever. But, you know, don't get me wrong, it's a very good leather, but also having smelt the others and being so impressed with them, I think this is the one that comes into my category of least favorite from the 5, although it is a very good perfume. We will smell the pre-sprayed blotter, and I will also tell you what they say about it on their website. Explicit acceptance and subversive joy in a secret world of leather and pleasure, they say. A celebration of defiant exuberance, the spectrum of individuality and identity. Patent leather glistens amid well-worn biker jackets adorned with spiced floral corsages. Moorish leather, Moorish as in you want more of it, not Moorish. Tobacco and someone looking at you like you're the best snack they've ever seen. Yeah, and it kind of is all those things, but maybe I just wanted a little bit more. So where's the pre-sprayed Quir? Here we are. So in the base, I guess it's kind of gone a bit sort of patchouli labdanum-y, and maybe shades of other sorts of leather perfumes as well. Is it animalic dirty leather, Mr. C asks? Not particularly, not to my taste anyway, or a more classic charred, more delicate leather scent. I mean, I suppose we could go so far as to say charred, but it's not dirty animalic. It's quite tobacco-like. What did I say in my notes? Gosh, this is juggling lots and lots of things. Got something on my lap, something here. What did I write? I suspect I probably wrote that I was expecting a bit more. There you go. It's does what it does well, but maybe some more humor would have been welcome. Yeah. So anyway, that's my least favorite, even though it is unquestionably a good, strong perfume. And if you like leathers, I would urge you to try it. But from this point onwards, things get, to my nose anyway, really, really interesting. Let's do Queen next. I thought Queen was fascinating. What are you folks saying? There we go. Now I wonder if Queen is going to make me think exactly what it made me think when I first sprayed it. Yeah, this is nicely done. Now, Queen made me think. Do you remember a few years ago? There was a really, really intriguing, fascinating, nicely done French film called Portrait of a Lady on Fire. And I smelt this and I thought, ooh, is this Pia's kind of take on or interpretation of Portrait of a Lady? And has she decided to go for Portrait of a Lady on Fire? Because it really feels like it's kind of Portrait of a Lady, but on fire. Love that film, says Maya. No, that was a good movie, wasn't it? It's kind of jammy, raspberry-like, rosy, really, really massively rosy. But there's also something really, really dangerous going on. Now, this is one Queen that you do not mess with. This is not a kind of regal personality. I'm guessing maybe this is Queen in the same way that Quir is spelled Quir. I mean, this is somebody you do not give too much attitude to, and yet if you're nice to them, they will be very, very nice back to you. It's kind of fun, but it's uncompromising. It's really, really bright red, rosy, cheeky, sweet. And also the other perfume that I thought of in relation to it, and I think I wrote this down, was that I wondered if you could, how many of you out there remember Andy Towers' Rose Vermeil, which was a really kind of beautiful sort of raspberry topped rose. I think it's not part of his collection anymore, but I think one of the best things he's ever done. It reminded me of that as well. Maybe again because this has got a sort of raspberry-ish note as well. I've written here that it's romantic but not at all safe, and I think that's the kind of it's got edge, and maybe that's what I was missing from Quir. This kind of doesn't let you rest too easy. You folks have gone off on a Marc-Antoine Barrois tangent. What are you saying? Gavin says, I have to say, I think Marc-Antoine Barrois has made some of the most queer perfumes around. In what sense? What do you mean? Ganymede is as queer as it gets, says Gender Goblin. And the name is a total giveaway. Ooh, then you'll have to explain the significance of the name to me. Mr. C says, from how you described it, seems amazing and something that would be an easy sell for someone like you who loves leather and the patchouli leather jacket style as well as tobacco. Oh, we're still on Quir. Okay, fine. And pre-sprayed Queen. Yeah, interesting. Still nicely rosy, still quite jammy, still quite raspberry-ish. The personality is absolutely 100% intact. And maybe it's just got become a little bit more tart. A little bit more mischievous. What do they say? I will tell you what they say, because I really enjoy their write-ups, actually. They're to the point and really, really helpful and accurate. They say, Alice stepped through the looking glass and was made queen, and now she's thrown a tantrum, and there are jam tarts everywhere. Tantrum is a good word for this perfume, actually. The sweetness of Victoriana is set to the soundtrack of a hallucinogenic dream. Honeyed black tea is spilled. Now, see, I don't particularly get a tea note. Red and white roses dance around a mushroom. And the notes are rhubarb, bergamot, nutmeg, and carrot seed at the top. You definitely get a kind of green rhubarb as well. And they say that there is black tea in the heart, together with raspberry leaf and rose. And in the base, benzoin, opopanax, myrrh, sandalwood, patchouli, and earthy notes. This one was nicely done. Then I think we ought to do the three that I've left are really sort of super interesting, and I don't quite know where to go next. I mean, maybe let's do Verdant. So this is Verdant. There we are. This was really intriguing. What are you saying? Their site says they're postmodern perfumers. Yes, I mean, okay. I wonder what that means in the context of perfumery. Right, Verdant. Their openings, the openings of the 5 are really good. Well, certainly the openings of the 5 minus Quir, I think, are really interesting. Verdant. Now, Verdant. When I first smelled Verdant, I thought that it's such a superb and 100% correct, accurate name for it, because this isn't just a green perfume. I mean, obviously Verdant makes you think it might be a green perfume, but it really feels like you are smelling something that is alive here. You really feel that you are smelling plants that are growing. Rachel says, I love Verdant. Oh, tell me why. You see the dew, you see the vines twisting. It's sappy, it's chlorophyll-y, it is green, it's figgy, but not overly figgy. It's just it's just like kind of Batman's poison ivy come to life. It's bursting with life. Like what's the sort of word for when plants get kind of filled with water? It feels like it is quite aqueous as well. It feels like it is literally about to burst with life. Really nicely done, this one. I mean, I do enjoy a good green scent as well. What did I write about it here? Let's bring up the notes. Yeah, I've just made a whole list. Sap, leaves, vines, twigs, dew, violet leaf as well. And I think what's interesting about it, the best green perfumes are the ones that don't just stick to the greenery. They bring a bit of depth, they bring a bit of darkness to things, or they bring a little bit of weirdness. Here, Pia, I guess, has decided to go for depth, because you feel that there is something stone-like, flinty, maybe even vanillic, but there's a real darkness or a real greyness that comes across. And because that contrasts with the green so beautifully, it actually makes the green pop even more. If you're on the lookout for a new green scent, honestly, you need to try this. I have no idea how easy it is to get their work outside of the UK, but I would say go to their website, eaudeboujee.com, and then see what you can find out. Verdant, they say, new Verdant air reaches skyscraper heights as millions of green stems weave through brutalist buildings from some distant past when humans ruled the earth. That's such a good description of this, actually. It's spot on. A dewy mist lightly hovers over the concrete jungle, and a desert has turned into an oasis. Now life can begin. And they say that the impressions you get from this one is of giant green things, absolutely, fresh water, and air with salty concrete. Completely agree. And where's the pre-sprayed Verdant? Here we are. Still maintaining that greenness really, really well. And again, it's got that edge to it, which is what I appreciate so much in Queen as well. Seriously, just on the strength of these 3, I would say this is a brand you need to check out. It's just so gratifying somehow to know that there are still brands like this around. I think it's brands like this, brands like Puente, brands like Les Indemodables, brands like Isabelle Larignon, brands like Eris, and forgive me if I've missed out the names of some of the brands that you will know that I like, but I think they're going to have to be the future of perfumery, because they're the ones doing the truly interesting things. Okay, now I really honestly don't know what to do next. Let's do the new one. So this is the new one. Rachel says you should have Pia back on as a guest. I would love to. I'd love to make that happen. So this is brand new from them, and this also shows you what a full bottle of theirs is like. It's called Infleurno, which is a clever name as well. And this is. And by the way, I think it's just my cap that's kind of got a little bit unglued. Please don't hold this against the brand. probably just got a dud cap. I'm not complaining. Infleurno made me actually think. Let's spray it and see if I get the same impression. Because I think I wrote in my notes that this was... I just thought, this is Jean-Claude Ellena at a rave, but specifically the Jean-Claude Ellena who made Jour d'Hermès for Hermès. You know, Jour, I think an underrated scent. Probably maybe it was just a little bit too old-fashioned for when it came out. But Jour was a really, really nicely done abstract floral bouquet. Really, really translucent, really bright, really huge, with just maybe a bit of extra emphasis on gardenia. And this is like a really, really gorgeous, lush, perhaps somewhat gardenia-ish bouquet, but it's neon lit and it's psychedelic, and it is at a rave. I'm sort of thinking of, wasn't the brief, the original brief for Kenzo Jungle, wasn't it meant to be something about like a jungle combined with a rave, or a jungle combined with neon lights or laser lights? And I guess that's what makes this postmodern in a way, that it's like taking something very, very classic, but putting it through a kind of sci-fi filter, squeezing it through a sci-fi tube. And it's so well done. It's really, really so well done. And it is like a kind of Infleurno. There is something pyrotechnic about it. You could imagine, you know, Jubilee from the X-Men, that this might be her perfume. Mr. C says, when are we going to get mainstream mainline designer incense releases? I have no idea. K. Dot says, Eleanor doesn't seem like the type to go raving. Oh, I don't know. I bet old JC has got a few surprises up his sleeve. I bet he had raving days in his past as well. What do they say about it? So this is Infleurno. They say, goddess of both flowers and hell, Persephone waves the underworld farewell. A passion fruit replaces the pomegranate, tainted with deceit. Yeah, and passion fruit does come through. Joy of freedom sparks embers from the heels, leaving behind a pyrotechnic trail. Zest for life arrives each year, and in bloom and fruit once more. Smoking embers of resins and woods left in her wake, she bids Hades and demons adieu. And the scent impressions are charred grapefruit, creamy white petals, and sparkling smoke. Really fascinating. It's just so interesting. It kind of feels like something that you think you've smelt before, but then you also like something you've never smelt before. Because that weird grapefruit, passion fruit, smoke, floral combo is really, really well done. And where's pre-sprayed Infleurno? Okay, it's getting maybe a little bit more gently floral now, because I guess even Persephone has to, even Jean-Claude Ellena has to stop raving at some point, right? But then what you're left with is a kind of smoke trailed, smoke entwined, grapefruity floral. Really, really nicely done. And I think my favorite is probably Gilded, although I do really love Verdant and I do really love Infleurno as well. But today, let's say Gilded is my favorite. And I will tell you why, very, very simply, because I still can't work it out. And I've sort of smelt it now 3 or 4 times, and every single time it seems to be a different scent. I wonder if other people have responded to it like this as well. Rachel, what's your take on Gilded? I'd be very, very curious to know. See, sometimes I think it's like a snuffed candle, like a really, really amazing evocation of a snuffed candle. But lately I've been getting incense and, amazingly, lots of kind of gold sheen. I wonder if there's like some sort of a quince note or a pear note, something that makes you think of yellow, shiny gold. Lots and lots of incense. It is and also, I remember now, a kind of sweet Indian dessert accord, like a kind of kulfi accord, cardamom-y kulfi of the type that you also get in Bertrand Duchaufour's Trahi for Nila Vermeer. Nila Vermeer, another brand that is the future of perfumery. Really interestingly faceted, a genuinely novel take, I think, on doing a meditative incense, because the incense is there and the meditative qualities of the incense are present. But I guess what's new is this gold. It's quite bling in a way. It's like a somewhat over the top bling and yet beautiful Far Eastern temple. Really intriguing, really intriguing. That kind of burnt feel juxtaposed with the gold. Really interesting. I want to keep wearing it so I can kind of, work it out. What do they say? They say all that is gilded will be bold. A celestial temple of golden light transcends earthly reality, the whispered mysteries of ancient spirits covered in gold by awe and time. All life endeavors to ascend to a higher plane, a state attained through incense and devoted spirituality. And the scent impressions, they say, are light, space, serenity, and incense resin dipped in gold. And yes, I've just seen out of the corner of my eye, saffron. Saffron is important here as well. They've got saffron listed as a top note. It is, and I think maybe it's the saffron, perhaps combined with, I don't know what, something vanillic that is also making me think of Indian sweets. Oh, Rachel says there is something almost like Bombay bling to it. Ah, interesting. Okay, so I'm glad you agree. And Rachel also says, I love your description, Mr. P. I'm really taken with this one. Really, really, really fascinating. Okay, and pre-sprayed gilded, pre-gilded gilded. It's still doing that kind of saffron, incense, woody thing. Really, really intriguing. Really, really intriguing. Okay, there we are. 5 perfumes in 27 minutes. Not too bad. An overload of enthusiasm for you. But seriously, I don't know if they do a discovery set or whether I think you can buy these travel sizes. But if they do a discovery set, I really honestly think you need to try it. And if they do, then you need to write to them and tell them to do a discovery set. Right, we are done. Stay tuned to social media for details of new videos coming your way between now and our Christmas break. I'm going to try and get as many videos in as possible. We have to do our winter list, and then we will take a break and come back before the end of the year with our top 10 for the year. But thank you very much for watching this. I will see you before too long. Bye now.